So we have with us Sherin Francis, the Principal Secretary for Tourism. Thanks for joining us. And my question to you is that when it comes to tourism, it contributes almost 25 to 30% to your GDP. So what tourism means for Seychelles? We can say it's lifeline for Seychelles?
Yes, tourism is the lifeline of the Seychelles, the backbone to Seychelles economy. 2 persons out of each household in Seychelles works directly in the tourism industry. So if I could say it in simple terms, it literally put food on each and every table in Seychelles.
Seychelles is considered to be a high-end tourist destination. So to break that narrative, what all you are planning to do and to bring a budget tourist from countries like India, what is the planning and how you are going to proceed for that?
Actually, it is a misconception amongst a lot of our travelers to think that Seychelles is targeting high-end, only high-end tourism. Our strategy is to promote a higher value tourism with lower impact. And in that strategy, it's not just looking at luxury or high-end tourism, but it's inclusive of every segment in terms of traveling segment, but also in terms of operators in Seychelles. It includes all operators in that strategy. Actually, an interesting fact that our Indian travelers needs to know is that Seychelles, in terms of accommodation, 60% of our accommodations are small establishments, small operators. And for us, we promote them as authentic Seychelles. So there are accommodations in Seychelles for any budget, but at the end of the day, it's what you'd like to experience. If you want to experience authenticity, something more closer to Seychelles community, then you would opt for this kind of accommodation.
Right. There's one question related to taxation because whenever you go to any place, we then get to know that you have to pay 50 rupees or 100 rupees as climate tax or something like that. So do you think that that is need of the hour for this island, or it can be removed? Because a lot of tourists, they feel that we planned in certain amount that we are going to spend this much of amount, but then we get to know on the spot that you have to pay 50 rupees or 100 rupees, whatever the charge, more. So do you think that gives a kind of stigma to the tourists?
I think with proper communication and for our visitors to understand what Seychelles is all about, they would understand why there are certain taxes that they are subject to when they travel to the Seychelles. Environment is the cornerstone of our tourism industry. It's what sells us, it is what positions us globally. And we know with the threat of climate change, our environment, our outstanding natural beauty are being threatened by global climate action. And it's important that as a small nation that we are able to adapt and to mitigate the threat of climate change. But climate mitigation is very expensive. It costs money. And the country needs to continuously find ways to be able to stay ahead of what needs to be done, if it means also to protect and to safeguard our tourism industry. So this is why for us, in terms of promoting tourism, we always talk a lot about sustainability of this industry and the sustainability in general of the country as well. We do a lot of advocate on that. We talk a lot about environmental conservation as well, which is as part of sustainability. And it's important that our visitors are able to understand our values, what's important for us. And that will also attract the right kind of visitors to visit our destination.
Coming to the point of climate change, lots of footfall means lots of, if you cannot say threat, lots of challenges for the climate change. So how you will make a balance between more footfall of tourists and protecting the climate at the same time?
It's a very interesting question. Actually, for us, we've never promoted ourselves as a mass tourism destination. And our focus has always been on the quality tourism rather than quantity tourism. And even now, as visitors' arrival are growing, we monitor the growth very closely, and we are ensuring through policy intervention that we are able to intervene at the right moment to just ensure that we always have a good balance between tourism development, tourism growth, and also protecting the very fabric that support this industry, which is our environment, which is our beaches, which is our green environment.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting answer. And one last question is that it's about the infrastructure development. So, what kind of cooperation would you like to see, or would you like to get from a country like India?
For us, if I'm talking in my position as a PS for tourism, India is a very important tourism market for us. And now that we've been able to build a direct air connectivity, which was lacking all this time, I believe the possibilities of us connecting these two nations and growing our tourism, fair share of tourism arrival from this part of the world is becoming more and more of a reality. I think being so close to India, 4 hours by a direct flight, and knowing the outbound travel from India, it's huge. We can definitely attract the right kind of segment from this market, and a connection. A growth from the East is always important because it diversifies our tourism portfolio, but it's also connect us historically. Yes, we have a huge historical ties with India. So all in all, I'm answering obviously as the PS for tourism, but of course within the greater economy, there's always other ways the two countries can build cooperation and infrastructure.
So there is a huge Indian diaspora also here, almost 10%, 8 to 10%. So how it helps Seychelles, in the growth, or for that matter, um, um, uh, making people-to-people contact with India more convenient?
Oh, the beauty of having such a huge Indian diaspora and a lot of Seychelles also from Indian origin in Seychelles is they can also participate in making the country visible and more connected to India, because already they have a lot of friends and families that would want to come and visit and discover the island. But I think the most important part is the various services and experience that would need to be available to make our Indian guests more comfortable. We can rely on the Indian diaspora to provide that for us. Already, there are a handful of very good, authentic Indian restaurants in the country as a result of our Indian diaspora, who ensured that you can have good Indian food, and our Indian visitors, they would feel right at home coming here. But through the historical ties, interesting perhaps for you to discover while you're on the island, within our Creole food, there's so much similarities to the Indian food. For example, the lentils, the curries, all of them originate actually from India, because this is where a lot of us, our first forefathers, come from. So I think the fact that we've had this historical connection would make our visitors as well feel right at home when they visit the Seychelles.
And one thing we have observed while roaming around this island country, that Seychelles wants to, identify itself as multicultural society rather than identifying as African country or Asian country for that matter. So, what is the essence behind that? That you want to promote, or you want to identify yourself as a multi cultural society?
The Seychelles, we are blessed by the fact that we originate from different parts of the world, from different continents. we're a mixed of a lot of us. We have mixed blood. You can really call us the true rainbow nation, actually. But we live in harmony. We live in peace, in harmony, and we live as one nation. And this is something that really paint a picture of unity and paint a picture that make our visitors, our guests, when they visit, feels really at home, because they know that regardless of their ethnic background, when they visit Seychelles, they would not be marginalized. They would not be cast aside. They would feel right at home and they would feel welcome, because by nature of our origins, we're a nation that are very inclusive and very tolerant towards multiple ethnicity and nationalities.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and your kind words, boss, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you've enjoyed visiting the island while you were here.
Very much. We enjoyed like anything.